fight the symptoms, but this is something that I have to live with. And I'm like, not really. I'm like, male pattern baldness. I was like, so that was a joke you just did? He's like, Kevin, I'm sorry. This can actually happen as young as 14. It's very rare, but it's happened to you. And so I just want to let you know, if you're insecure about this, I was insecure when I was a kid about my hair. And I was like, really? He said, yeah, I was insecure because my hair was so thick. I was like, cool, doc. That's not an insecurity that exists in the world. Okay, you don't make up your own insecurities. Society chooses them for us. And as a group of people, we haven't chosen big penis or thick hair as an insecurity you're allowed to have. My mom is even more concerned than me. My mom is just like, is there anything we can do? He's like, well, we have 3 options. Okay? He's like, first option, you go bald. He's like, okay. Second option, you can get a hair transplant. We take hair from the back of your head and we transplant it to the top, and it'll grow like normal. I'm like 4 years away from the SATs. I'm not getting a hair transplant, okay? He's like, the third option is a drug. It's a pill that you take every day called Propecia, and you'll keep all the hair that you have, and you'll even grow some hair back, and you take that pill for the rest of your life. And I said, okay, are there any side effects? He said, there's one side effect. It can cause early onset erectile dysfunction. And I was like, I think I'll just go bald, okay? I can't think of a more worst case scenario, a more Faustian bargain than to be age 22 and hitting on a girl and she's like, ooh, you're cute. And I'm like, well, sweetheart, I hope you like these locks because down here is out of order. Yeah, my penis doesn't work. I've been on Propecia for 8 years, so you know when you go to those car dealerships? Yeah, it's kind of like one of those floppy guys, just like that. Pretty good though, huh? So my mom's like, don't you care? I was like, yes, of course I care. She's like, does it bother you? I was like, yes, of course it bothers me. But you know what? I'm just going to go bald, and one day it's not going to bother me, and I'm not going to care. And that's what happened. Through high school and through college, I hated it. It bothered me. And then I got older and older, and it never bothers me now. I never even think about it. That's a lie. It bothers me. There's one time in life when it bothers me, and that's when I'm around kids. I work with like 4 and 5-year-olds as a teacher, and if I walk into a classroom and I don't have a hat on, all the kids are like, hi, Mr. Kevin. If I walk into a classroom with a hat on, they're like, hi, Mr. Kevin. If I walk into a classroom with a hat on, and midway through class, I take my hat off, all the kids at once, they're like, you're bald! He has no hair! So I find myself getting to the door of the classroom, and I'm just like, all right, Kevin, hat on or hat off, choose now. You don't want Penelope and Sebastian and their little gang making fun of you again, okay? So this happened one time, and no joke, a little girl named Madeline in the front of class, everyone said, you're bald! And she looked up and she said, Mr. Kevin? I was like, yeah. And she said, can you grow your hair back? And I said, no, I can't grow my hair back. And even if I could, I wouldn't, because I love myself just the way that I am. And she said, I think you look mean with no hair. And she started to cry. So sorry if it bothers me occasionally. So, I'm bald now. I live in New York, and I used to have a day job that I absolutely loved. And this day job was being a tour guide around New York City for 8th graders on their 8th grade trip to New York. And I loved that because I made it a mission of mine to say, you know what? These kids are in an uncomfortable part of life. Right, this is difficult. I'm going to try and be a good influence and try and connect with the kids. So I tried to connect with them by, being like a cool tour guide. I don't know how you express that to 8th graders. I would just be like, all right, guys, what's up? I'm Kevin, and don't worry, I'm a cool tour guide. They're like, oh, I want to kill myself. So I try and talk to them about music. That's where I try and connect with them. So I'd be like, hey, guys, so what sort of music do you listen to? They're like, what do you listen to? I don't know. Pretty cool music, like Radiohead. And they're like, oh, that's old people music. And I'm like, shit! That's old people music. It was cool for so long. What do you guys listen to? And they're like, we like rap. And I was like, I like rap too. I like Wu-Tang. I like Biggie. And they're like, that's old people rap. And I'm like, shit! That's older than Radiohead. It's old people rap. I was like, I do cool things sometimes. One time, I got a CD with a parental advisory on it, and I covered it with my thumb, and they're like, what are CDs? And I'm like, oh shit! I'm old! Just on a conveyor belt away from coolness and towards death. There was this one kid they were picking on because he wasn't allowed to listen to rap music, and I could relate because I wasn't allowed to listen to certain kinds of music when I was growing up. I grew up in like a conservative Christian family, okay? And so I remember I wasn't allowed to listen to Marilyn Manson. I wanted to, and they're like, no, you cannot listen to Marilyn Manson. Does anyone remember the rumor about Marilyn Manson? Yeah, what was the rumor? He had 2 ribs removed. Why? So he could suck his own dick. I just want the audience to say it and not me, so you all believe that it was a widespread rumor, okay? So imagine how I felt, and I wasn't allowed to listen to the one artist in the world who was living out my dream at the time, you know? That wasn't just my dream, that was every boy's dream at that age. It doesn't matter if it's your brother, your father, Pope Francis, or Barack Obama. At 13, we were all the same. It was like, I think I can make it! I think I can make it! And you couldn't make it. You'd have to lose 2 ribs in order to make it, you know? So do you remember what we all did? What'd you do? We'd all go to our parents and be like, hey mom, I have a question. She'd be like, yes sweetheart. We'd be like, can I get 2 ribs removed? And she'd be like, why? And he'd be like, well, I'm almost too embarrassed to even say it. And she'd be like, you can tell me anything. And he'd be like, well, I was kind of hoping that I could suck my own dick. And then your mom would kneel down and say, sweetheart, that's a very invasive surgery. So in the meantime, you're just going to have to stretch or use your hand. Okay. And then you'd skip off. Do you remember when we had that conversation with your mom? Just me? Okay. I wasn't allowed to listen to Metallica either, which really bothered me because I didn't understand why I wasn't allowed to listen to Metallica. I didn't realize what was wrong with it. But I found a loophole, actually, because I found a Christian group that took secular songs and would rewrite them with Christian lyrics. So sure, I wasn't allowed to listen to Enter Sandman by Metallica, but I was allowed to listen to Enter Samson. Enter Samson was the same rockin' instrumentals of Metallica, but telling the Old Testament story of Samson and Delilah. See my hair, it's so long, how'd I get this strong? There's a clue in the song. Severe one guy only, ripping your Philistines. Why would I even want to listen to the original? Why would I want to listen to Deep Purple's Smoke on the Water when I could listen to Water? Bohemian Rhapsody? Bethlehemian Rhapsody. I've got you one better, Queen. I always thought it was funny, James Hetfield from Metallica, the lead singer, in all of his songs, he always like, yeah, yeah! And I always thought it would be funny if that's not how he sings, that's just any time in his life that he's overly excited or enthusiastic. Like, Mr. Hetfield, would you like to start with an appetizer? And he's like, yeah, yeah! So I go up to my parents, and I'm like, can I listen to Metallica? And they're like, absolutely not. I'm like, can I listen to Metallica with Christian lyrics? And both my parents at the same time, just like, yeah, yeah! kids are just like making fun of everything. They're afraid to like anything. And then there was this one kid who was completely comfortable with who he was. It was amazing. I still remember this kid. He had a weird name named Arlo. And all these kids were making fun of his name. And I remember they were picking on him. And he just like, I don't care. You can make fun of my name all you want. I like who I am. I was like, who is this kid? He was amazing. So we, on our itinerary, we're going to the MoMA in New York, the Museum of Modern Art. And I wanted to be a good mentor for the kids. And we would show them around, show them some of the pieces. I had this group of like 6 boys, and I like showed them all the paintings. I'm like, hey guys, what do you think? With the painting, they're like, that's just a square. And I'm like, yeah, but that's the first artist that drew a square. That sucks. We gotta find a better painting than that, okay? So we go up to the room where it goes Starry Night. It's one of the greatest paintings of all time. And we're standing there, and I was like, and all the boys were just laughing about how funny it would be if they went up and punched the painting. That's it. And then Arlo hears them, and he's like, if you even get close to that painting, you better appreciate the brush strokes. And one of the kids is like, stars don't even look like that. That's the 8th grade art critic. Stars don't even look like it. You know what Arlo says? Arlo's like, stars aren't supposed to look like that. That's his impression of what stars look like. It's called Impressionism. Ever hear of it? I love this kid. So all of these kids this group is from Texas. And so they're always nervous that New York isn't safe. And so they always come up to me and they're like, is Central Park safe? And I'm like, yes, Central Park is safe. They're like, is the subway safe? I'm like, yes, the subway is safe. And then this one kid, we're about to go in the theater to see Wicked. And they said, is the theater safe? I'm like, yes, when has a theater not been safe? And Arlo from the back is just like, Abraham Lincoln, John Wilkes Booth, ever hear of him? I'm like, he's Winnie too! Off the top of his head! So I asked this whole group, I was like, hey, is everybody excited to see Wicked? And everyone's like, okay. And then it quiets down, and there's one guy in the back, and he's just like no. And who was that? It was a chaperone, he had on like a cowboy hat. And I was like, have you ever seen the show before? He's like, no, I haven't seen the show, I just know I don't like music. I was like, okay. And Arlo says, you don't like musicals? That's just to play with music. That's a 2-for-1 deal. He's frugal too. Now, what was going on with that chaperone is something that I've seen before. Okay? He didn't even know what he was thinking. But what was going on is the thought that he had, which was, if I see a musical and I like it, then I do it. You know? And that's such like an absurd thing, but I'm telling you, I have seen it before because I remember my dad. My dad, he loves the book Les Mis. It's his favorite book. So, my mom got us tickets when we came to New York for the first time when I was a kid to see Les Mis, the musical. And he was like, oh my gosh, I love Les Mis. And my mom's like, it's a musical, I've heard it's great. My dad's like, I don't like musicals. She's like, I've heard it's amazing. Everyone says it's great. He's like, I think musicals are cheesy. I was like, all right. So we went to the show, and I don't like sitting next to somebody if they're not enjoying it. So I'm just watching the show, and all of a sudden, after it ends, and there's a big commotion. And look, it's my dad. Good smell! Starts crying. He tells me, he's like, I'll be right back. He runs down to the merch table. He gets a t-shirt, and he gets 2 CDs. He gets 2 of the cast albums. He comes back up, and I'm like, is one of those for me? He's like, no, they're both for me. In case one of them gets scratched, I want to have an extra one. So I make it a point. Now my dad, anytime my dad is driving around now, he's listening to Les Mis. So he's just driving around just being like, do you hear the people singing the songs of angry men? Master of the house, keeper of the zoo. He loves Les Mis. So I want to talk to that chaperone after Wicked because I think he's going to enjoy the show. So I make a beeline as we walk out. I was like, hey, what'd you think? He's like, Kevin, oh my gosh, that show was incredible. I love the story. I love the songs. He's like, I even got a cast album. I was like, are you serious? He's like, yeah, I'm going to listen to it when I get back down to Texas. I'm going to be driving around singing Defying Gravity. I'm going to find a guy. I'm going to suck his dick. So I am forced by my mom to audition for the school play in Little called You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown. Now, I was on the basketball team, and I wanted to be on the basketball team. I told my mom, I was like, I love playing basketball. And in our town, you have to play everybody for 4 minutes a game. The games are 30 minutes long. Everyone has to play 4 minutes. I always played 4 minutes. Okay? So my mom is like, audition for the school play. I think there's a better way that we can all as a family spend our time than going to your basketball games and seeing you on the bench. And I'm like, yeah. So I go audition for You're a Good Man, Charlie. I walk in, and I don't know what the director thought, but I think when I walked in, she said, oh my gosh, an adolescent boy who's bad at sports and prematurely balding. Holy fucking shit, it is Charlie Brown. So I got Charlie Brown, and I got to perform in it, and I loved it, and it changed my life. After that, I was like, I don't want to be on the basketball team. I'm excited for next year's school play. And next year, we did Grease. Next year we were in Grease, okay? Now Grease, I don't know if you guys have rewatched it, just imagine a bunch of kids just singing Grease, because there's some stuff that is pretty odd to listen to now. Like, here's a line from Summer Night. Like, tell me more, did she put up a fight? They're basically just like, hey Danny, did you rape Sandy? And he's like, whoa, 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 I don't want to talk about it. I want to sing about it. Now, the end of Grease, you may remember, Sandy, she's the good girl. At the end, she starts dressing sexy, she starts smoking, and everyone's blown away. She keeps in a peer pressure, and she just like, remember that? Did you know there's a sequel to Grease 2? Grease 2, it's a real movie. Michelle Pfeiffer plays Sandy in Grease 2. And in Grease 2, it's interesting because at the end of Grease 1, she gets into peer pressure, she starts smoking. At the beginning of Grease 2, she has a tracheotomy, and she's just like, I should have never started this man. This is a horrible mistake. Danny, I love you. So after You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown in Grease, I told my parents I want to go to theater camp. They found me a theater camp. I went to theater camp, and I kept a journal while I was at theater camp. Now, I'm a little bit older. My prose is a little more advanced, okay? June 15th, 2002. Well, they were theater camp. There were a few guys here. I know I have a lot to learn, but I have a work ethic and a desire to do as much as possible. The first question then is, why are you here? The answer? To learn everything humanly possible. I want to be a great actor, writer, director, anything to do with theater. I want to be great at everything. Performing, writing, sex, costumes. And if it's hard work, I will leave this camp in 2 weeks with the knowledge to do just that. Day 2. Am I learning about acting? Yes. But also about people. Can I handle some of them? No. Can I hide it? Yes. I'm also having a hard time sharing my attention. I mean, at Hoover High School Drama Club, I am it. It's me and only me. But here I have to share the spotlight. It looks like I'll have to earn respect. And this camp is just a taste of the real world. Day 3. I love theater, and I can be anyone on stage. And you know what? It doesn't matter if you have 1 line or 100 lines. It doesn't matter unless you affect a life. Day 5. Amalie, our counselor, is my favorite person here. From the moment I saw her do her monologue from the diary of Anne Frank, I knew I had a crush. She is Jewish and could really understand the character like someone else who is not. I have a thing for her, but boys will be boys, huh? heaven. Today I feel how much I'm going to be getting out of this camp. I hate that it will end. I want to be around these people 24/7. They're also open-minded and accepting of one another. You never have to worry about sounding stupid or feeling dumb. There's a definite trust here. It's not just a camp. It's a fellowship of friends. Day 8. I spent the whole night discussing religion, college, and sexuality with our counselor, Matt Z. While Niall, Evan, and Nick all looked at porn together in the other room. Matt is really cool, and I got to talk to him about being gay. I told him a lot of my friends think I'm gay. It's probably because I wear tight clothes and I love theater. I've never wondered if I am gay, but I have certainly tried to see if I am. I just get bogged down with people thinking I'm gay, so I want to make sure. The thing is that gay no longer means attracted to the same sex. It now means likes tight clothes, theater, and singing. And if that's the definition, then I can admit that yes, I am gay, but not homosexual. Final day. During the final performance, I was afraid I would mess up my lines. I didn't, because I let my lines come to me, not me coming to my lines. I still don't know what that means, but I've become so much from this camp. I've gained patience and friends. I've lost my clean mouth. Okay, so I'm pretty sure that at this camp I started swearing a lot more. Either that or I gave my counselor Matt Z a blowjob. It's one of the two. On my way home now, don't ask me what happened, but this camp slipped through my hands like hands full of sand. I made a new family, but this one will never be together again. I learned about Jewish beliefs and culture from Amalia, and I learned about gay people from Matt. Our acting teacher even said I should go into acting, but I'd have to work on both my voice and my movement. The two elements of acting. You know the feeling when you know something for sure? Well, I guess I do if I'm asking myself. I'm certain that theater is it for me. I love entertaining people and role-playing others' lives. All I need is a chance and I can transform into anyone. I didn't cry today. But I will miss these people so much, and I had one of the best times of my entire life. When I grow up, I know what I want to be. But I don't just want to be an actor. I want to be an artist. Yep, that's right. An artist who paints on this palette we call the stage. Now, imagine that boy would find out that he'd grow up, he'd move to New York, and he'd get to work in theater. And not only that, but he would get to become colleagues with one of the great American playwrights, probably the most influential African-American playwright in America. Okay, so I teach kids chessmen. That's my day job. And I got an email from a new client, and I recognized her name because I studied her plays in college. Right? She's won a Pulitzer Prize. She's been nominated for 2 more. Not only that, but the New York Times said that one of her plays is the best American play of the past 25 years. So I saw her signature. So exactly who it is, because I've seen her picture on the inside of the plays that I read in college. Right? So I'm looking for any chance I can talk to her about theater, talk to her about her process, connect on a normal level, and I'd go week after week after week. And then one day, after about a year of knowing her, showed up, and questions. She's answering them. Then she starts telling me about this script she's working on for HBO. She asked me what I do. And I'm like, I'm an actor, I'm a writer, I'm a comedian as well. She's asking me questions. We're just going back and forth. And in my head, I'm freaking out. I am over the moon. It's one of the highlights of my life. And then she says, Dylan, her son, she's like, Dylan, I think he wants to be white. And I was like, what? She's like, I think Dylan wants to be white. And I was like when he grows up? She was like, what? I was like, I'm sorry, I'm confused. Like, he wants to be white when he grows up? She said, no. And we turned, and Dylan was setting up all of the white chess pieces on the chessboard. And I was like, yeah, that makes more sense. That's why I come here, to teach chess. And I went and I sat down, and right looking down at me, she had a giant poster of James Baldwin. And he was just like, had his hands like this, was staring right at me. It was like he was just saying, like, when he grows up? What the fuck is that supposed to mean, Kevin? I'm not kidding. I've had nightmares where I just replay exactly the situation in my head and I wake up like, oh my gosh, nope, happened in real life too. Dreaming and waking, this happened. It's absolutely humiliating. But we're actually working together on a project now. It's a play titled The Racist Chess Teacher. So it's based on a true story. I went to church camp as well as theater camp. Yep, I went to both camps. Does anyone want to guess which one was the dirtier camp? You are correct. It was church camp. Yeah, I went to church camp, and I remember on the very first day, in the same room, they split up all of the girls on this side, all of the boys on this side, and then they handed out purity rings to all of the girls. And a purity ring, for those of you who don't know, it's a ring that girls put on their fingers instead of their wedding ring. And they're supposed to save themselves for marriage and make sure that they're pure. And all of the guys, while that happened, were just supposed to talk about what they wanted to pray about. So I'm with this kid, Curtis, and I was like, what do you want to pray about? And he's like, I don't want to pray. I just fingered Andrea McDowell. And I was like, cool. We are at totally different camps right now. I want to know what camp you're at, okay? So once there was a break, Curtis went and found Andrea. Andrea had a friend named Kate, okay? So me and Kate are talking, and then when there's no parents around, me and Kate went off and went over by this lake. We're sitting there and we're talking, and she looks at me. She was like, I want to give you a hand job. And I was like, but you have on a purity ring. She looked at me and she just said, not anymore. Hottest thing that has ever happened to me in my life. Even to this day, I think about it, I get trembles. I'm just like, not anymore. Oh my gosh, Kate, you're too much. I wanted to hang out with Kate. So I go home from church camp and I tell my parents, I met this girl named Kate. Can she come over sometime? And they're like, yeah, what are you guys going to do? And I couldn't say what we were going to do, so I just had to make it up on the spot. I'm like, we're going to watch Rain Man. Because I saw a VHS of Rain Man in our living room. My parents were so excited, like, oh my gosh, it's such a good movie. Tom Cruise, Dustin Hoffman, Best Picture. Right? So they make popcorn and Kate comes over. And they're like, are you guys excited to see the movie? We're like, so excited. We go in the basement, we turn on the movie, and then the FBI warning isn't even off the screen yet. The credits aren't even done. We're like, just furiously making out, okay? And I'm waiting for Kate to give the go-ahead. And she doesn't. She just looks at me and she's like, Kevin, I was like, yeah. She's like, I want you to put a finger in my vagina. And I was like, what? Now, I'd never done that. So I followed her directions to the letter, and I put one finger in her vagina, and that was it. I just looked at her. It was like I set an egg timer and was waiting for my finger to prune. I don't know. I was like Dr. Melinda Shadowitz. I was like, Kate, this isn't weird. This isn't weird. This is totally normal. All right, we heard something up at the steps, and we went back quick. We're like, oh no, okay. So we're sitting there, and then my parents came back down, like, hey, are you guys enjoying the movie? We're like, yeah. They're like, oh, what part are you at? We're like, the rain hasn't happened yet, I don't think. They're like, okay, maybe no problem. We're like, no, we're fine. So they go back upstairs. We didn't get caught, and I was like, phew, okay. So we're sitting there, we're about to start making out again, and right before we do, we hear someone at the top of the steps. It's my mom and my dad. Like, Kevin, upstairs, now! I was like, I'll be right back. When I walked upstairs, both my parents are there. And I'm furious. They're like, Kevin, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, no, I'm sorry. My mom was like, Kevin, what are you doing? And I was like, oh. She's like, you gotta move your finger back and forth, okay? She's getting nothing out of this. Now, my mom came and saw this show once, and from the back, she said, I did not say that! That is not true! And I like picking on my mom, so I was like, that, she didn't say it. She said, you may need to work the clit a little bit? Not all girls get off from penetration? Can you believe she said that? Can you guys believe that my mom is sitting right here and that she said that to me? She taught me about the female orgasm at age 13. Nothing out of this. Now, my mom came and saw this show once. And from the back, she said, I did not say that! That is not true! And I like picking on my mom, so I was like, that, she didn't say it. She said, you may need to work the clit a little bit? Not all girls get off from penetration? Can you believe she said that? Can you guys believe that my mom is sitting right here? And that she said that to me? She taught me about the female orgasm at age 13. So, when I was in 6th grade, that's when everyone in our town went from the elementary schools into the middle school, okay? And so, that is when all of the new groups formed. And I found myself in the cool group, which was very exciting. I knew I was in the cool group because I started getting invited to sleepovers. And the first sleepover that I went to was over at Kenny's house, and there was about 6 guys there, and we were gonna play video games, and we were gonna watch movies. It was very exciting. So we got over to Kenny's, and we were gonna play Nintendo 64. We were gonna play Mario Kart, okay? And then the mom rented us a movie, and it was Titanic. So she puts the movie in, we go upstairs, she goes upstairs, and she's like, have fun. We're sitting there. Titanic is the worst, most boring movie for a bunch of 6th grade boys to watch. It's historical, and it's a stupid love story, and we're sitting there bored.